Immigration lawyers struggle to navigate Remain in Mexico policy. The Trump administration's policy of requiring some asylum seekers to stay in Mexico for the duration of their immigration hearing is spurring confusion among migrants and immigration lawyers who are trying to represent them. Immigration lawyers have been scrambling to get answers to questions about the Migrant Protection Protocols program, informally known as Remain. The concerns shared by immigration lawyers span the gamut from how to communicate with asylum seekers, many of whom are staying in shelters in Tijuana, Mexico, to whether attorneys can practice law in another country for profit to how, generally, these cases might differ from other asylum seeker cases. In some scenario, some legal representation is often critical to the success of a case. Immigration Court President Donald Trump has repeatedly denounced the nation's immigration system and recently appeared to mock and question the legitimacy of asylum claims. The so-called Remain. This month, the hearings of asylum seekers who fall under the protocols began in the San Diego Immigration Court, roughly 18 miles from the port of entry, and while some did have legal representation, others did not. Jewish Family Service of San Diego, a non-profit organization that provides some legal assistance to immigrants, has been periodically sending some attorneys to Tijuana to meet with asylum seekers. The amount of times its research has underscored the significance of access to counsel for immigrants. According to the report notes that it's harder for immigrants in detention to acquire counsel. And to some degree, there's an added layer of complication since many asylum seekers in Mexico either don't have cell phones or if they do, can't afford to make international calls. For lawyers, all of this is an impediment to asylum seekers who fall under the program and lawyers who might consider representing them. Cases, when the obstacles toward obtaining counsel are apparent to some asylum seekers, who acknowledged them during their master calendar hearings, the first hearing in removal proceedings, in the San Diego Immigration Court earlier this month. In one case, a man seeking asylum who did not have a lawyer said he had been given a list of legal service providers by the government but had trouble understanding it. He added in.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot bar. I get fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up.